Hey everyone, how you doing? It's 6 o'clock and it's Monday, so it's a Monday snack. Hope everyone's well. This week I have the very, very cool Luke Smith, fantastic keyboard player. Chatting with him today. And we actually had a chat a couple of days ago. And just a quick warning, we had a couple of internet issues here and there, so hopefully it's not going to spoil your enjoyment to any great degree. All right. So I'm gonna dive straight in to the conversation with Luke, and this first part of our conversation, we kind of took a trip down memory lane to our childhoods and how we kind of got into music and our influences, and you'll get the idea. Here we go. Right, everybody. So today I have with me the one, the only Luke Smith, Titan keyboard player, producer, and recording artist. How's that introduction, Luke? You like that one? You like that?
I like it. Yeah, it's great, man.
Cool,
yeah.
Cool. How you doing? What's going on? You good?
I'm very well, man. Just trying to adapt to this new normal.
right. Like all of us. Like all of us. Cool. So so for everybody out there listening, watching, I first met Luke in the mid-90s.
90s, yeah, man.
And we were playing with Mesa Leak. I think that's the first time I met you.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
It wasn't? When was it then?
Nah, bro.
When was it?
You ready for this?
Yeah, go for it.
1995, Mama I Wanna Sing.
No. Was Mama I Want to Sing before Mesa?
It was before Mesa.
No, it wasn't before Mesa.
Definitely, because I came down to do Mama I Wanna Sing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day. See, I'm getting old. That's what it is. I'm just losing track of time. Cool. So we first met on that then. So you were MD for West End show Mama I Want to Sing featuring Chaka Khan. And as well as doing that, you've worked with the likes of George Michael, Amy Winehouse, Stormzy, Emeli Sande, Neo, Leona Lewis, Jamie Cullum, Roy Ayers, Kirk Whalum, the list goes on and on and on and on, right? That sounds about right, yeah? So,
sure, yeah.
So I remember when we first met, and when we first met, I think not so much on the Mama show, because obviously that was quite scripted, right? And I came in and decked a couple of shows. But when we first did the Mesa Leak thing, what really blew me away was your ability to kind of reharmonize stuff. Just, we got cool changes popping along, you'd throw in a couple of reharmonization bits, and it'd be like, oh my gosh, it'd be like, like you would just hurt me with these chords, these crushed chords. And you'll remember, I'd always jump off the kit, come and run over, show me a couple of bits, right? You know, that's always my thing, right? So, that always blew me away. You know, you grew up playing in church, right? I'm assuming you grew up playing in church, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like, you know, like myself, like a lot of our contemporaries, yeah? So, this can be my first question, right? My first question is, right? The church upbringing, right? It kind of develops an instinctive approach to music, because I don't know about when you was growing up, but when I was growing up, there wasn't any. Well, there was a lady on the organ. She was reading the hymns, but everyone else, you know, it was all playing by ear. Yeah, and I learned to play, and everyone around me, we all learned to play instinctively. So we got an understanding of how harmony worked simply by playing every week with other people.
That's right.
Now, people that I meet, I remember when I studied, people that I met, that didn't come from that tradition kind of find it a bit weird. Like, how does that work? How do you know that chord goes there? How do you know what that chord is? Yeah? And I've always wondered, right, if it's possible to pass on that mindset, that tradition to people that haven't come from it. So can it be taught? Can that ear training and oral skills, have you found a way to pass that on to someone that hasn't come from that church tradition? That's my first question.
Ooh, it's a big question. That,
Yeah,
you know,
I don't like to make it easy.
Well, first of all, I think that a lot of it is based upon environments. Yeah, living in an environment and being in an environment whereby you're hearing things all the time,
Yeah.
and I think that music is about repetition. So there's two ways to learn it, which is to analyze it, or just hear it and it repeats on a regular basis. So what happens is the more it's played, the more it's heard, the more your memory, your body feels it and understands it. So I think that what helped us was our environment, coming from a gospel background in church where there was no, it was a thing of somebody's gonna get up and start singing a song. No one's gonna preempt what the key is.
Yeah.
And say, I'm gonna sing a song in this key, learn this song beforehand. Someone's gonna sing and you've got to find that, you've just got to find it.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
it starts by crashing and burning and everyone looking over at you like to say, what are you doing? You know, they're not paying the consideration. You're an 11-year-old kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, they're not paying that to consideration. They're just like, if you're gonna do this thing, do it while shut up. That's the vibe. Yeah. And also as well, in those days, you know, coming from a black community, there were always loads of kids. So even in terms of the banter. So as you know, someone might go on the drums and go, stop, and he might, what was that? Show me, I can do that. And everyone learns from each other. So I think the environment is what kept us, or even the way that we all learned each other's instruments. It was just a crew of kids trying to outdo each other in a healthy way.
Because that was my thing. My thing, right, when I was growing up, right, it was like a vibe where all the younger kids, when we were all younger, you would just sit in the band corner just watching the older kids doing the thing. Just waiting for your chance to get a spot. That's what it was. Just loads of us, all lined up, just watching. But what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to get to the bottom of, and is you're the first person I've asked this, right? Is it possible? I still can't fathom how it happened. How did I get to the stage where I can hear a melody, and just by hearing that melody, I can put a chord sequence to it? And sometimes not a simple chord sequence, sometimes quite a complex chord sequence. I'm saying, how do you pass that on to somebody else that hasn't come from that thing of sitting down with all the other kids and kind of learning by osmosis?
We're still hearing the harmony because people like the Hawkins family, Andre Crouch, you know, James Cleveland, harmonically, Clark Sisters, Winans, Commission. There's a lot going on. It's just the other day I was playing somebody a song commissioned. How can we sing when we're in a strange land?
All right, yeah.
And the way ooh, and all that sort of thing. And they were blown away because they were making reference to a song that they heard that Donna Lawrence did, which was the same song. So I said, well, have you heard the original? And they were like, what original? And when I played it, they couldn't believe it was the same thing. So what I'm trying to get at is the information was always there, because the contemporaries that we listened to, they were schooled. I mean, Edwin Hawkins did quite a lot of records with the Oakland Symphony Orchestra. There was a lot of things happening. Andre Crouch had a lot of the top session musicians of that time playing, from Joe Sample to Dean Parks to Abram Boreal to Bill Maxwell producing. So we were hearing the information without realizing we're hearing the information. We didn't realize, you know what I mean? We weren't listening to the OJs, but we listened to the Winans. So we got our version of events from the same music, but constructed in a different way, or same influence, should I say. It was only later that you realize that. Do you get what I'm saying? I always say that a lot of times you may find that within your family dynamics, music is something that's passed down.
I'm the only person in my family that plays anything.
You're the only person that you know.
No, trust me. In all my family, extended family, no one else plays.
And I hear that, but what I'm saying is, you don't know if your forefathers, you know, and I proved this theory with somebody before, yeah. And he said the same thing to me. Oh, I'm the only person in my family that plays. No one else plays. Da 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 da. And one day he went through his dad's collection and started finding some of the records that I told him to listen to. And I'm saying, even if that is somebody played the music, you might have gone to Auntie So-and-so's house and they were playing music when you were still in the womb of your mother. Somehow that's resonated or, you know, moved, because music does that. Do you know what I'm saying? And you know, there's a long, and if you go biblically as well, you have the Levites, it's tribes. I did a lot of work with a Senegal percussionist, and he was telling me how, no, my parents were drummers and my grandparents, and there's a lineage of things. Sometimes that happens and it gets lost, you know, possibly because of slavery, we don't know. And then all of a sudden down the road, 4 or 5 generations later, that it regurgitates and comes back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I would suggest that some of those things have gone on.
Cool. Right. I'm going to play a clip. Right. I'm going to play a clip and then we're going to talk about this clip. Right. So let's check this out, because this is part of expanding on the point I've been making. Here we go. Right. So, right, I played that because that was a clip from one of the sessions you did for my first record.
Okay.
Yeah, and that highlights what you do that completely blows me away. So we're sitting there, you know, I always write last minute. You're always getting on my case because I'm friend. Because I'm friend dots at you. You're always getting upset with me, right? And you were able to really expand on that, expand on the general idea, take it in directions and places that it wouldn't normally go. Yeah, so you can see we had a great chat just about when we were kids and the way we learnt music is very, very cool. I'm going to say hi to a number of people. Who we got? We got Maxine, we got Bob, we got Stefan, Alex, Paul. Great to see you all. Mick, wonderful. Thanks for tuning in. Head of the family, cousin Jeff. Great to see you as well. Who else we got? Oh, I think that's everyone. I think we've got. Oh, sorry, have to do it. Mrs. S is in the house. I have to say that, or I get in trouble. There you go. Anyway, right. So moving on to the next conversation that I had with Luke. We then went on to talk about the challenges of releasing your own music and how you kind of get over the hurdles of not sort of having a record company and all the usual, you know, support that, you know, larger artists might have. It was pretty interesting, actually. Check this out. Here we go. This is the point when there's a cry on your shoulder. And it's a cry on your shoulder, right? Because I'm in the process. You've just finished in the last few months your album. And I'm in the process of trying to get my second album just over the line, right? Labor of Love. It's all about perseverance. It's all about just basically keeping going no matter what's kind of being thrown at you, especially when you're doing it independently. So with you writing and recording your own project, yeah, which I've heard and it's great, right? But writing and recording it, what kind of challenges did you have to overcome to stay motivated, to kind of see it through? What would you say were the things you had to kind of really push through to kind of get the whole thing done?
Well, the first one's going to be, is it any good? You know, the first one is the battle with yourself. Is it any good? You know what I mean? Because there's such an expectation on what people expect you to do that the whole thought process of, boy, I hope I meet people's expectation, and is it good or what? Do you know what I mean? And that plays a part in your mind until you get into once you get into a groove. For me, I was fine once I got into a groove, but to start with, there was that, and you have people you bounce off that you play to, and you say, "What do you think?" The ideas. That was my main challenge to when I first started. But it was getting all the musicians in the room at the same time because I was low on budget. So some of it was favors and getting people to help. You know what I mean? And it's getting everyone in the room. And the third thing is things breaking on the session, cables not working. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and that was, but once I got the music done, the biggest challenge was, what do I do now?
Right.
Because I went around and I spoke to a few different people about what it was. And at our age, you've got to understand what the industry's about. So in your mind, you think, I thought, well, yeah, I'll get a manager, and then I'll speak to a few labels, and then I'll get a deal when I put the record out. That's what I thought, not understanding that the industry's changed so much, and that model is an old model and doesn't really work. And it's very hard to get that. It's very hard to get that because everyone's doing it themselves. You got Spotify, you got Apple Music, you got Amazon Music, and all these things. And everyone's saying, "Oh, you don't need anybody," but you do, but you don't. If you know what I mean.
I want to stop you. Yeah, I want to stop you and go back. I want to go back a little bit, right? Because you said there was a thing about you being worried about whether it was good enough and expectation. I remember, obviously, Tony Remy, Fabulous Guitarist, is on your album, right?
Yeah.
And I remember Tony talking about when you put your own music out, what you're essentially doing is you're putting your head on the block. You're making yourself vulnerable. You're saying, this is the inner thoughts of my mind, right? And I'm putting it out there for the world to hear it, right? Do you see it that way as well? Like you're putting your head on the block, like it's boy.
Yeah, I mean, I changed my mindset. So my mindset is completely different now. I don't care if you like it or not. Yeah. So I'm at a place where I make music because I have to make music, and this is what's inspiring me, and this is what I hear in my head. So when I speak to industry people, I say, my music's Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. I don't take it personal. It's not personal. Music is very subjective. So there's everything that you like, I'm not gonna like, and vice versa. So the pressure of me thinking, what's everyone gonna say? That's gone. I don't suffer from that at all.
Yeah.
My thing is, I do what I feel I'm supposed to do, and those that get it, and those that don't. And that's totally fine. Do you know what I'm saying? And I make no apology.
Yeah, one of the things that I think was pretty cool when you're talking about mindset, when I did that first record, the fact that I was actually doing it, I actually went into it with the headspace that said, I'm gonna make the music I want to make. I don't feel sort of restricted or burdened by it having to appeal to a certain demographic, to a certain chart, a certain style. It was just like, you know what? I'm going to sit here and just try and write a tune and see what happens. Whatever comes out, that's what I'm going to record. That was actually really liberating. Not being worried, like you're saying, you don't care if people don't like it. That I sort of came to the same conclusion. It doesn't matter. If people don't like it, what do you think about that?
If you're honest with music, because the thing about it is that if you're not honest with music, you can't say it to anybody because you've got to believe in it. And if you try and make music, because everyone's doing drill music, so I've got to do a drill record because that's the in thing. But you're not into drill really. You know what I mean? Or even in gospel music, everyone's trying to do Hillsong music because that's the in thing, but they're not into it. You actually hear it. You can if you connect with music, you'll hear that it's not believable, man. You're not being honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
because I produce records whereby pop records where they say, "Oh right, I want it like Beyonce record or like this." You're analyzing somebody's music and then copying the framework of the music to make that music. I did that for a couple of years at EMI every day, in with a different writer every 2 days. And I realized you're not really getting quality. I'm making music by numbers, which works for people, and you can make a lot of money. But I'm not into music for the money. I was in it for the craft. So I have to get back to the source of what it was that made me get into music in the first place, and it was the craft. So, sometimes you can write and you can write in 10 minutes. Sometimes it'll take you days, sometimes it'll take you months. But let me get into the craft of music and let me write from an honest place. And that's what I did with my music.
I've got another clip, right? So I wanted to play this. I really wanted to play this clip because he's doing two things. It's kind of giving a flavor of your album and specifically your new single, New Dawn, right? But it's also giving a flavor of the Luke Smith magic reharm on the roads. I want people to kind of check this out. Yeah, let's see this. Let's check this out. Yes, Luke. Yes. I'm feeling that.
Cool. Cheers, man. Thank you.
Very hard.
You.
Wicked.
Thank you.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what you do, man. That's what you do. That's Luke Smith, as far as I'm concerned. That's Luke Smith. Wicked. Right. Oh, man. There's a bit in that clip. Every single time, I'm just like, oh! Luke Smith. Ledge. Wonderful. Right. So that new single is out and it's called New Dawn, available everywhere, all the platforms where you'd normally get your music. I'm going to say hi to a few more people. Adam Kovac, mate, great to see you. Got to get you on as well, Got to get you on. Kevin, great to see you as well. Who else we got? Jerome. Andy and Lowell, thanks for tuning in as well. Have I missed anyone else? Who else is there? I think we're covered. Really cool. No, right. So, what we're doing now? Oh, we're breaking it up. We're going forward to, obviously, the usual thing. Silly little quiz. Here we go. We're going to break things up. So if you haven't watched any of the streams, right? Which means you don't know what's coming, bro. You don't know what's coming. This section of the stream is called the Impossible Choice Quiz. I need an instinctive reaction, no hesitation, right?
Lord.
You got two choices. Don't worry, man. You're safe. It's nice.
I'll just say no comment anyway if I don't like it.
No. Right. Basically, two choices. Right. So, first thing, keyboard players. You got to make a choice for me. Keyboard players. Ready? Bobby Lyle or George Duke?
George Duke.
Okay. Keyboards. Is it your Wurlitzer or Fender Rhodes?
Fender Rhodes.
You're very, very kind of, straight down the line. There's no,
I ain't messed about. I ain't messed about with this one. Yeah, I got this. I got this.
Okay. Few more. Right. Bands, right? Bands. The Crusaders or the Yellow Jackets?
Yellow Jackets.
Ah, okay, right. It's good. Straight in. All right. Keyboard players again. Bob James or Jeff Lorber?
Bob James.
Ah, interesting. Right, last one. Your preferred venue, right? Are we saying Carnegie Hall or the Hollywood Bowl? No, come on.
Hollywood Bowl.
Hollywood Bowl, right? Okay, yeah. Kind of managed to catch out in one. The whole point is you're meant to be kind of, I'm not sure, but you're very, 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 very assured on most of those questions.
I'm assured. I could tell you the reasons why, but it's not important. Yeah, right.
Cool. Right, yeah. There's one more quiz. We'll get to that later. Right. So next question. Right, I got to watch the time because that child needs to be picked up from school. Right. So, it's really funny because the smallest small just put in a request for her own shout out. So the smallest small is in the house. Man, the ladies in my life are just very, very demanding at the moment, Jeez. Cool. Peter Turtle, great to see you. Pat, lovely to see you as well. Brilliant. Right, so what we're doing now. Yes, the next bit of our conversation was dealing with how you cope with tricky work situations. This was pretty interesting as well, actually. Here we go. Next question, right? So you always have a go at me. I think I kind of said it earlier. You always have a go at me for throwing notation and dots at you when you come round and play my stuff, right? I remember after the final session on the record, I don't forget you said to me, "Don't call me for the gigs,
Don't
Andrew."
call me. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Don't call me for the gigs, right? So, do you have strategies, right? Not my stuff, but stuff that's probably more important than my stuff. But do you have strategies for coping with those tricky musical situations? We all have them, or I'm assuming we all have them. Where and do you have any everyone so far has had a horror session story? Have you got any of those?
Oh, come on, man! I've got. Come on, what makes us great is the horror stories. I'll tell you one horror story. Yeah, the horror story I tell people all the time was way before I moved to London. I was touring with Hot Chocolate, the band Hot Chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah. And I hadn't learned a system of learning songs properly. You're straight from church, so you just know about the chord, the dominant seven, and you're playing these fat 13s and things you don't really know. So a song like "I Believe in Miracles," where are you from? You're doing the thing, yeah. But when I'm doing it, I'm playing dominance. I'm dominant seven, and I'm on the tune. And people can be very strategic and corporate in how they do. So I was like, yeah, doesn't quite sound quite right. Are you sure those are the chords? I'm going, yeah, they're the chords, they're the chords. And he's looking at me, and we play it again. And then he says, yeah, I'm not really sure those are the right chords. Can we hear the tape? It was tape those days, not even CD.
Right.
Play the tape. And when he went, yeah, I think the chords are a little bit simpler than that. So I sort of played a C major. And he went, yeah, that's right. And in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, but that's a C. Yeah, that's easy. I'm not understanding the concept of what a session musician is to facilitate the artist. So I've gone, and played it straight. And he goes, yeah, that's right. So I'm playing it in my head thinking, this man's a long thing. Then he stops and says, one second, did you learn the string line? And I'm thinking, string line? What string line? and then he plays the track, and I'm hearing, and I'm going, and those are the days when I didn't have retention. You know, like how if we go, you go, all right, let's go 2. But when you're a kid, you'd go, oh sorry, oh sorry, and you wouldn't the retention of learning it, what the guy says. So can you imagine? I couldn't get the string line. I was just frothing it, yeah. And then we took a break, and the guy pulled me aside and says, "Yeah, you really need to knuckle down and really get this right because we've got a lot to get through, and it's really important. And yeah, I'm still a kid, and your eyes are watering, and you're doing that." Yeah, and you're thinking, if the guy goes now, I'll hold it down. But if he carries on talking, I'm gonna break down. Start
really
crying. You know what I mean? So, but that lesson, I learned so much, and from that day, I just thought, nah, this is not. It's learning the detail, and for me now, the simpler the music, the more my psyche goes. What is it that the person's trying to? What does the client want in this? I learned a lot just from that situation, and that helped my career.
So, a follow-up question would be, working with like very high-profile artists, right? It requires a very focused mindset. Yeah.
Definitely.
The whole thing where mistakes aren't expected, and most of the time there's an assumption. When I go into certain situations, I assume mistakes won't be tolerated, let alone, right? So, and the thing is, sometimes I might think that, but the artist might be really cool. Some of the high profile stuff is, you think it could be one thing, and you always prepare. I'm always, I tend to be pretty well prepared anyway. But then an artist can be something more laid back than you expected them to be about stuff. But is your approach to working with like the higher profile things, is there a divergence, a difference in the way you might approach that stuff as opposed to the stuff where you're hanging with people and it's a bit more chilled?
Yeah, definitely. Like working with George Michael was a lot of things because you're dealing with a genius of George Michael's status that knows what he wants and everything is deliberate, and you're dealing with a genius of Chris Cameron, who is an amazing musical director. So he's not going to miss it. Chris is not going to miss a trick. Yeah. Chris is that guy that's going to say to you, "Yo, Luke, you take the ninth out in that chord," because Chris is pitch perfect. He's going to hear it. And then for me, it was like, right, my job, second keyboard player's job, in my opinion, is always the hardest job because people don't know what you do and don't understand what you do, but you do the thing. Yeah. So in that situation, I'm covering Hammond, I'm covering Rhodes, I'm covering strings, I'm covering Moog, I'm covering effects and other things. I'm covering a lot of things. But I'm also dealing with a musical director that is a crazy, amazing string arranger. So now I've got to get into the fundamentals of the strings. I can't just pull up a patch and play it. Because, I know you do your string arrangements, this is Mercato and Arco strings and the bow, where the bow is, he's going to be very particular about what he wants to hear based upon that. So I've got to make sure that I listen to what I'm doing and I program the strings accordingly so that when it comes back, it's what it is. Because he's going to know, no. You got the trem on. We don't want the trem here. We want the trem happens on the last bar. So I'm putting splits on the keyboards and I'm going in.
Right.
And I'm writing flow charts at home when I go home, and I'm designing what I'm doing. I'm writing it down, and I'm being very detailed. And then what made it worse at first when I joined George Michael's band, I was a week late because I got called at last minute because the other keyboard player that was doing it before was busy doing something else. So nobody really talked to me in the room. Now I didn't know what that meant. That by the end of the first week, I was a little bit, felt a little bit like, I'm gonna
Paranoid.
get fired. I'm gonna get fired or something. I'm
Right.
paranoid. Now I had to pull Chris aside and say, Chris, just checking, is everything okay? Because you're not really saying anything to me. And he was like, oh no, brother, you're cool. If I don't say them, it's because I know you got your thing together. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was learning and understanding that he trusted me to do what I was doing, and the fact that he didn't tell me anything means that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's when he's telling you, and then you know you're not doing it right. Do you know what I mean? So the approach, and Chris helped us a lot by saying to us all, guys, you know, artists at that level carry a weight on their shoulders in terms of the media and so the pressure's great. So they'll just sometimes they've got to find a channel to throw that on somebody else. So you don't want to be that guy. I just, you know, that makes the mistake, because when you go, oh, what was that? And then everyone looks at you, and then he looks at you, and all of a sudden now you're flapping, and all of a sudden you make a mistake, and then before you know it, you do 4 mistakes. We used to have a saying, 3 strikes and you're out, mate. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Don't let the free strikes get you. 3 strikes and you're out.
That's quite funny. We had some. You can see there's a few internet glitches, and one bit of the conversation we had that didn't make it because the whole thing froze. He was talking about this. Luke was talking about this episode with Chaka Khan, where he said, I think the bass player hadn't turned up or something, and he said something along the lines of, she said, "Oh Luke, you just play the bass with your left hand, just play the bass in with your left hand," and he started the tune and he messed up, and she went, "All right, we're gonna drop that song," and he said he got really really stressed out by it, which was really really funny. I really wish I could have chucked that in, but there you go. Right, I wanted to play. I forgot. We were chatting for ages as usual. Well, I was chatting for ages. And I forgot to talk about this other little clip I'm going to play with Luke. So this was a bit from one of the tunes on my first album, and it was Luke, myself, and Orifo Orakwe on bass. We were doing the session. I think I just kind of written the track, and we had a solo. I wanted the piano solo on the end. It was only meant to be like, I think, 16 bars. Once Luke started going, I ended up extending this thing. It became this long, elongated thing. But this kind of captured the moment where he kind of started, he was on fire. This just kind of captures it. Take a look. He was off. He was just off. So I ended up just extending this tune by probably about 3 minutes, just so he could do his thing. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Cool. So we're breaking things up again. This is another one of my silly quizzes, the Tour Life Pop Quiz. Here we go. Right, so the last bit. Our final quiz. This is the Tour Life Pop Quiz. Again, you've just got a choice, right? No hesitation. Okay?
Yeah.
Right, first one. We kind of alluded to this a minute ago. What post-gig food before a long drive do you want to see in the production office before you get on the bus? All right? So what food do you want to see? Do you want pizza or KFC?
KFC.
Go on, quick. KFC?
KFC, yeah.
Right, okay. All right. So now we get off the tour bus in the morning. Where do you head first in catering? Are you going for the full fry up or the muesli?
Fry up, man.
I don't know who's going to say that.
Blatantly. Muesli, what's that going to do?
Okay. Right. Here's a conundrum, right? You're at a hotel bar at the end of the tour, right? You're with the artist manager, you're with the band agent, the fixer that got you the gig, and you're with the MD. So you're with those three guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've only got money for 2 drinks. Who misses out?
Start again. Say that again.
So you got the artist
there?
manager. So you got the artist's manager. You got the band agent, the fixer, and you got the MD, right? You've only got money to buy 2 drinks for that round. Who misses out?
The MD, blatantly. And I'll text him later and say, sorry, man. Sorry, man. I owe you a drink, yeah, but you know how it goes already. You know what I mean?
Okay, right. Right, last couple. Right. Movies on the tour bus. Are you watching it on the iPad in your bunk or on the big TV in the lounge?
Big TV in the lounge, man.
Okay, right. Okay, the last one. Your method, I want to know what your method for coping with jet lag is, right? Do you sleep when you want, or do you try and stay up and acclimatize?
Stay up and acclimatize.
Really? You said you stay up thing? Because you know what always gets me? Japan gets me, and Australia gets me.
Yeah.
Australia, man. Just when it's time to do the gig, that's when you want to sleep. My first time in Australia, right? Like I said, gig time, man. I'm keeling over. So I'd never had a Red Bull before, right? So I had a Red Bull before the gig. Luke, the click just felt slow. I was like an Energizer bunny, man. I just could not. I was just like properly wired. I was like, nah, you know what? It's only recent years I've kind of gone back on Red Bull when I'm tired. Well, Luke Smith, it's been wonderful having you on the show on a Monday snack. Really cool. Thanks again. And hopefully Corona just kind of, I just need to get to the other side of coronavirus at the moment.
This is it.
Hopefully we'll be playing again soon.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Not on the gig, but you know what I mean.
Not on my gig, right?
Not on your gig, you know what I mean. I can't handle that, mate.
Nice one, man. Well, thanks again. See you soon.
No problem, sir. All right, man. Cool. Respect,
wicked.
Man.
That was really funny. The question about the hotel bar, it kills me every time. But the other one about muesli, what's that going to do? Only one Luke Smith. Oh man. Right. Hi to Tony. Great to see you as well. And Annette. What have we got? I think I said hi to everyone else. Really cool. So that was Luke. Hope you enjoyed that. I mean, it was really great chatting with him. And again, next week, there's someone really cool on. So in the meantime, please remember, Luke's single is called New Dawn, and it's out now. Do me a favor, everybody. You can visit my website. So that is andrewsmall.net. You heard a few bits, a couple of clips, tunes from my first album, What Happens Now, which is available from all the places where you normally buy your music. Yeah. My social media handle is Andrew Small Drums. That's here on Facebook and also on Instagram. And the whole show will be available to watch again on YouTube a bit later once I've done some tweaks and done some bits and bobs. Hopefully later tonight. And please do subscribe. That'd be wonderful if you do. So, hope you enjoyed it. Really grateful for everyone for tuning in. And hopefully see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Take care. See you. Bye-bye.